again, one of your favorite colleagues in the Congress, Congresswoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz, this week stated that the rise of Hamas is we can blame the rise of Hamas to President George W. Bush and democracy as a whole. Would you care to speak to that?
Well, I think that's a very politically motivated statement that has no grounding in truth or fact whatsoever. Hamas has been emboldened, especially in these last few years. But we can go all the way back to President Jimmy Carter up to today, and we can see the failures of many American presidents in not confronting these groups like Hamas, Islamic Jihad, Hezbollah. But to say that one specific person is the bane of all of this, that's absolutely wrong. That's just political rhetoric.
Now, Chairman Dinnerstein had mentioned that you should be one of the front runners for Secretary of Defense.
I don't know.
Would that be a possibility? Would you consider that if we had a Republican president?
I got to tell you, it would be an incredible privilege to be entrusted with the defense and security of this United States of America, and to also be entrusted with taking care of the men and women and their families that make up this great military that we have. So, I don't know what's going to happen. Right now I'm just focused on being a good congressional representative and running for Congress again next year.
And lastly, what do you think of this drawdown in Iraq and the purported drawdown in Afghanistan?
Well, it's a bad decision, especially in Iraq. As I said, if we could look at Iraq in concentric security bands that go out into an external, what we need to do is, let the Iraqi forces focus on those internal bands, but then we should need to be out in some of those external bands so that we can prop up, out there the border between Iraq and Syria, the border between Iraq and Iran, and up there to the north with the Kurds. That would have been my strategic perspective. And I think it's a very good leadership agreement or immunity for our troops to be in there, because I want to see the sacrifices that were made by those young men and women over these last 8 to 9 years. I was one of the first units to go in 2003. We don't want to see that loss, and we don't want to see a second return of Pol Pot and the killing fields post-Vietnam to happen in Iran.
Would you support a preemptive strike by Israel?
Israel has
on Iran?
Israel has to understand that Prime Minister Netanyahu is responsible for the security of his people. And if he sees that credible threat coming from Iran, based upon what we're going to find out next week from the IAEA report, then he has to be able to take the appropriate actions, and we need to stand behind them as a staunch ally. Now, I will tell you this, that sanctions are only going to take you so far. Eventually, you're going to have to do something about the military capability that Iran is building.